This week on the High Limit Room, Sunshine Tyler Courtney joins the show as he got back behind the wheel of Eldora Speedway Park the last 2 weeks after being out of the seat for 7 months. He tells us about being back behind the wheel, the 2026 championship fight, and his favorite casino games on this week's edition of the High Limit Room. All right, before we get to Tyler, let's recap a few things that have happened in the racing world over the last week or so. The World of Outlaws got their season kicked off down at the Eldora Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. They got the 410 sprint car scene underway for 2026 at the Dirt Car Nationals, which saw former high roller Spencer Baisden and his new team with Stenhouse Jr. Marshall Racing get their season kicked off in a big way with the opening night victory coming from the 10th position. It was a very impressive drive for Spencer. Congratulations to him. Also going to victory lane throughout the Dirt Car Nationals week, Buddy Kofoid for Roth Motorsports and Anthony Macri in his own 39M. The PA posse came in there and they took the Big Gator with Macri. That win propelled them to that Big Gator championship. A huge win for him, and it looks like Macri's in for another huge season behind the wheel of his sprint car. Don't forget as well to get your FloRacing subscription as USAC gets their season underway this week in Florida at Volusia, Ocala, and all kinds of other stuff as well. You've also got the World Series of Asphalt and New Smyrna going on with the super late models, so make sure to get that FloRacing subscription. Also, High Limit only about a month away, so you want to make sure that you've got that Flo subscription dialed in before the season gets underway. Now, let's get to Tyler Courtney. All right, joining us this week on the High Limit Room is Sunshine Tyler Courtney. Tyler, it's great to have you back here on the High Limit Room, and it's been great to watch you back behind the wheel of a sprint car, of course. The season's underway for you. As far as I know, Tony and I have not seen a sprint car race so far in 2026, but you've been pretty busy here the last couple of weeks, of course, with the ASCS 1-2 races there. Got the Big Gator last I checked, and then obviously just ran with the Outlaws this weekend. What's it been like, getting back behind the wheel, be back at the track in the fire suit? I remember back in the day when I used to race, which I wasn't very good, but I remember when I get on the throttle, like the first time after not being in the car for a while, my head would like kind of go, I get like lightheaded the first time I get on the gas. Was there anything like that happened to you, or was it kind of just, I'm right back to it?
No, I think that must be something for you there, Chase.
I might have problems.
Yeah. No, it was, it felt really good, to be honest with you. Even just firing the car off for engine heat, just it's kind of the last piece of my puzzle that I had to do to kind of get back to complete normalcy. And, it felt amazing, really. And, probably felt better than I thought I was going to feel. And, to come out and especially win the first night back, I wasn't expecting that, and I know it was a 360 race, but, just everything considered, it was a pretty gratifying moment.
Well, Tyler, it wasn't just a 360 race. It was a 360 race on maybe the greatest surface that's ever been created, if you read the internet the last couple nights, and they did knock it out of the park at Volusia with that new clay. I'm going to put this on because I didn't have time to before we began. I want to thank you again for this sash. I'm just hoping it doesn't turn into a bra for me here before the season starts. And I lost the bobby pin, so there's no way to connect it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really nice of you to get me this little whatever you call it back in Tulsa. 360 racing, it's your introduction back to being out behind the wheel of a sprint car. I don't know. I haven't raced. Unlike Chase's really cool story, I haven't raced anything on dirt before. So getting back behind the wheel of a 360, is that a good way to reintroduce yourself to a sprint car, or is there not that big of a difference between the 360 and the 410 when it comes to power?
No, I mean, it's quite a bit of a big difference. Like at Volusia, you're going fast no matter what you're in. But I think for me, just to kind of be, a second and a half slower, really, for 3 nights to just kind of get myself acclimated, made a big difference for when we got to the 410 stuff. Obviously, we weren't as good as we wanted to be during the 410 stuff, but I think a lot of that came with going faster and just, kind of getting my head to work with my feet again and certain things, on all that. But I'm very grateful that we were able to, get a 360 and go run those 3 races before, or else I think I would have been even, further behind the 8 ball, going into that week, and especially, moving forward going to Vegas. But I think we got to accomplish, pretty much everything we wanted to do down there. I think the wins were a bonus. I think for me, I wanted to go down there and, one, be competitive and, really just make all the shows and get as many laps as I could to be ready for, our season, season debut there in Vegas. So I feel like we're in a really good spot. I think we have more speed than what we showed with the 410 stuff in Volusia. I think the track kind of caught us off guard, especially the last night compared to what it was, the 360 stuff. So just, getting back in the swing of things, being able to explain to Jake, what I need and what I need to feel and all those kinds of things, and him understanding me versus, he worked with Gio for the last 6 months, at the end of, 25 there. So just getting everything, kind of back in the right direction. So we're not just a fish out of water when we start there in Vegas.
You mentioned there that, things didn't go as, you were hoping for, obviously, when the Outlaws were in town. But does that mean that you guys are going to try and race a little bit more to get you even more comfortable for Vegas? Or is the next race on the schedule the first race with High Limit?
Yeah, the next race on the schedule right now is just with us and High Limit. I think we're not sure what happened with the motor and the heat race on Saturday night, so we need to get that checked out and just kind of see how the next couple weeks go. If it makes sense for us to, slip down and, kind of meet the Outlaws there, in Magnolia or something on our way out, maybe. I know there's a 360 race at Casa Grande here at the end of February too, before we go to Vegas. So maybe something like that. But as of right now, just get everything back in order and tip-top shape to go to Vegas. And I think we're in a really good spot. I do. Obviously I'm a racer. If my team wants to go race, I'll race, every day this week if they wanted to. So, but got to do things that, make financial sense and just, logistical sense too. I mean, it's, this first trip's a big one, out west, go to Vegas and Arizona, then New Mexico and, kind of make our way back to the Midwest. So, it's a big trip. So to really add anything to that is, a task in itself.
Tyler, I'm glad you talked about things that make logistical sense because I've got a question about logistics in your personal life. But first, before I can ask that question, I need to know, are you at home now, back in Iowa?
Yep, I'm back in Iowa.
Okay, so speaking of things that make logistical sense, is that a Christmas tree still up behind you in your house?
Yep. It is not my house. This is actually my in-laws' house. And I believe that Christmas tree has been up for over a year now.
Wow.
I think it's from Christmas of 24. And she'll probably yell at me for saying that, but yeah, I think she's had it up since Christmas of 24. We're in the process of moving houses right now. So that's why I had to come here and, be on Wi-Fi so we can do all the downloading and all that fun stuff. And we should take possession of our new house tomorrow and, be back in kind of normal-ish. We got to put everything away again, but yeah, that's my in-laws' Christmas tree, and I believe it has been up for over a year.
I was gonna say, if that's a Christmas tree, that's still up a little late considering it's February something.
Yeah,
but if that was in Chase Rodvin's house, it would just be a cat tree, and it would never go down.
I've got two of those, but I was going to mention whoever's tree that is, let them know that my Christmas lights are still up right now. Okay, so and I don't know.
Why are you going to be the dogs?
One of your 8 dogs is now barking. So, but we like dogs on the High Limit Room. We like dogs with High Limit Racing, and man, is everything okay in there? Is somebody breaking in?
Is there somebody just got pulled? I think someone pulled in the driving way. Oh, and so I think that's what they're going.
Do they want to be on the High Limit Room?
Sorry about that. Hey.
You mentioned there you're moving houses, and that's why we are kind of recording this around midnight. We're on the Drivers Project schedule as of right now. We're recording at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. But you said you're moving, so you were in Knoxville, right? And now you're moving where? Or am I wrong on that?
No, I was in Newton. Now we're moving closer to Knoxville. It's a little town called Harvey, about 10 minutes east of Knoxville. So just kind of going back to logistics, just when we're home, her parents, Asia, my wife, her parents live here in Knoxville, and we have the tanning salon that we opened up last April. It's in Knoxville. So, just a logistical sense, we spend a lot more time in Knoxville when we are home. So we couldn't really find anything we wanted in the town of Knoxville. So we just went out a little bit and found a place that we really liked. And, when we sold our house, it was a 30-day close. It sounded great, and then I started looking at my schedule, and we were in Florida, up until we close tomorrow. So it's been a hectic day. We've got home at midnight last night, and then we've been up since 8-9 o'clock this morning, finish packing everything and moving, and then we get up early again tomorrow, and I guess early for a race car driver, it's probably a normal day for everybody else, but get up early and close on our house and then close on our new house too. So yeah, it's been a hectic couple days here.
I was going to say 8 or 9 a.m. You were up 4 hours before Chase was, so that's pretty impressive. And a tanning salon, did I hear that? Do you think you can get Chase some coupons to that?
Yeah, absolutely. My wife, she had kind of always wanted to do one, and a building came up for lease last year around this time, and we just said go ahead and do it, and it's gone really well. It's the last couple months have been really busy up there, and it's fun. Obviously, she's got some great employees because we're not home all the time for her to take care of herself, but she's got some good employees that help her do all that, but it will be nice, being closer when we are home, so she can go up there and take care of things she needs to take care of, and go about it that way.
Well, luckily now it sounds like Tony's on an airport runway, so if that's the case, then we might need to get him to leave that airport runway. But my next question for you is, we had Gio Scelzi on the show not too long ago. I want to say maybe 2 episodes ago or 2 weeks ago or so, after the Chili Bowl, and kind of talked to him about his new deal. And obviously he filled in for you last year. My next question is, on your car, it says Spire Motorsports on the front wing. It's been there for a while. Obviously, we knew his team is owned by Spire Motorsports. Would you consider yourself teammates, or would it be, what would that kind of be there, that dynamic between the two teams?
I would call it like probably more of a technical alliance. Like they sponsor us, and then they started their own team. I think at one point we talked about, maybe, merging. I'm not really sure. I'm way too low on the totem pole for that conversation. But I do know that, we've got the same cars, engines, shocks, a lot of that stuff. And, we do share, quite a bit. We will probably share quite a bit of information. So I would say, we're probably more of a technical alliance than, actual teammates. I think, it's just kind of, formalities of that, but, I'm excited for it. I think it's great for the sport for especially high limit, and for us in sprint car racing to get a team like Spire involved, and bring another corporate sponsor like Chili's, and I think they have a couple more, maybe lined up to go on the side of that thing at some point. It's hard telling with them. I think their NASCARs change almost every week, so it's just going to be really cool to have them involved, and be able to have an alliance, whether it be technical or whatever you want to call it. Have them so as teammates, and just have them on the road. I think obviously Gio lives out here in Iowa, and him racing with us the last 6 months there, 25, and gotten to know him pretty well. I knew him before, but kind of took a friendship to the next level really, and it's been cool to get to know him and his girlfriend Maddie, and just excited for another great team, and great person and driver to be on the road with us at High Limit.
Now, before you ask your next question, I thought it was funny that Gio actually said the same thing, that you took your guys' friendship to the next level. So you guys are best friends.
Yeah,
mentioned that on the show last time too.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think we have very similar interests, especially when it comes to gambling. So
that sets me up beautifully for my next question, and I hope my microphone sounds better because this is an important one. We've talked enough about racing, right? I think we're good for the next probably 35 minutes here to not worry about racing anymore. We're going to Las Vegas to kick off High Limit Racing's 2026 season. And Vegas is it can be a bit of a sticky spot for a degenerate gambler, which I believe is how I've heard Giovanni Scelzi describe himself. And I think you would probably wear that hat with honor as well. So when we get to Vegas, where can we find Tyler Courtney, Giovanni Scelzi, new BFFs just broken here on the High Limit Room? What's the game of choice when High Limit rolls into Vegas?
Yeah, I would say blackjack's my game of choice, but we end up getting sucked in on the slots pretty quickly. Our wives like the slots as well. So it's kind of a group effort when it comes to that. And, then we got, a few other friends that we, hang out with out there in Vegas. I don't know if I'm allowed to say their names or not, so I'm just not going to say it.
Oh my!
Yeah. Well, it's just, I'm just going to leave
Are you
it at
friends
that.
with the mob, Tyler?
No, it's more of a professional courtesy. So, and I'm sure Chase knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, slots kind of go hand in hand with everything. And, but no, I've got a great host out there. Her name is KJ. She's actually a race fan. And she hooks us up with, some awesome hotel rooms in Vegas. And, we spend money to make her look good at doing her job. So it works out for everybody. But she does, she works for MGM, and kind of we float back and forth between, either staying at the Cosmopolitan or the Mandalay Bay. I think we're at Mandalay for March. And then, I'd like to go down to El Cortez. I follow Vegas Matt on YouTube. He's I guess an influencer for gambling, if you can be that. And he plays at El Cortez a lot, so I'd like to go check that place out and just kind of see where all the other influencers that I follow go and gamble at.
Yeah, El Cortez, man, it's like a zoo of influencers in that place. Bluff and Reggie and Britsky and all these guys. I watch those guys too, but I'm not much of a slot guy. I'm more of a craps guy, where you can lose your money just as quick. But it is fun.
It's all a sucker bet. That place is built as beautiful as it is for a reason.
But it's just so fun. It really is just so much fun to lose your money. We are not financial advisors, by the way, here on the Highland Earth.
Yeah.
No, so
Do you listen to us?
keep that in mind as you are listening to these shows. Tyler, the last two guests were Kerry Madsen and Giovanni Scelzi here. And Tanner Holmes was there too as well, but I can't remember if I asked him.
Guys.
Yeah, I don't think I remember if we asked Tanner Holmes this question or not, but I couldn't really get a straight answer out of Gio or Kerry. I want to say Gio said like Vegas and Texas or something, but for you've ran Vegas, you've ran Texas, and we've got a big schedule this year with High Limit, going to a bunch of new places. Montana is one of them that a lot of people are super excited about. That kind of crazy almost speed week there through the Iowa and the Iowa kind of area. What tracks or what little swing are you looking forward to the most this year? Because there are really a lot of new tracks to go to.
To be fair, I'm honestly excited to go to Montana. One, because I've just never been there, and two, let alone race there. So excited to see that part of the country. I've probably met fans from there and just didn't realize they were from Montana. So to get to meet some new fans in that part of the country, I've always heard great things about the places we're going to, and that they usually show out in droves there and fans with. So I'm excited for that. I would say that's probably like when that came out, even when they kind of started talking about it at the end of last year, that we might, do that part of the schedule. I was getting really excited for it. So I would say, without thinking any harder on it, that's probably the thing that's stuck in my head the most is, you going to a new state for myself as a race car driver, and, see what we can do.
I do agree with you, Tyler, in the sense of really looking forward to going out to Montana and Big Sky Speedway. Your dogs, they also are excited for Montana as well. Tyler, I'm also excited about getting out to Montana. It's a beautiful region. I've heard from behind the scenes that pre-sale ticket sales for that event up in Montana at the end of June are actually doing really, really well, it sounds like. So if people are watching this and they plan to go to that race up in Montana at Big Sky, you probably need to take care of your ticket purchases sooner than later. How are you feeling physically? Like when we get to Montana, are all three of us going to go on like a strenuous hike? How are you doing physically? And will you be able to keep up with myself? I'm a big hiker. I love it. I do it all the time.
No, I think I can go on a hike right now. I feel really good physically, honestly, and just keep doing more stuff every day to, keep making myself better. But yeah, I would say that I could definitely keep up on a hike. I got a feeling that we're probably not going to go very far, Tony.
Whoa.
But no, I think, I feel great, honestly, in the race car. Nothing ever bothered me. I think honestly being in the cold down there bothered my back more than anything, being outside the car just with the metal that I got in my back. So, but inside the race car, I felt great, but it was freezing in Florida. I think it was colder down there than it was here in Iowa.
I was going to say, if Florida winters are bothering you, I really do not want to know what your back's going to feel like when you step outside in Iowa.
Yeah, no, to be fair, when you're at home in Iowa during the winter, you don't go outside. Now you're in Florida in the winter, you like, especially you're down the racing, you got to go outside.
Well, Tyler, speaking of your crash, it's something that is going to be talked about here for a while until I don't know when, but we're going to ask you about it. I don't think we've talked about it on the High Limit Room with you before. The one question I had about it was, how many times have you gone back and actually watched that crash? Was it one time? Was it 20 times? Do you watch it every other day? Like, I mean, it was obviously a very scary moment in your life. Do you go back and watch that pretty often or no?
I think I'd probably say, yeah, probably a dozen to 20 times probably. I think more of it is clips more than just the whole crash itself. I think it's more of just clips, like, especially like I'd imagine probably in the editing here that this crash will probably get played in the edit. So like when I go back and watch this again, I'll probably see it on that, or just like, interviews that I've done, pretty much, the last 6-7 months, that it kind of gets included in there, which is, it's part of it. It doesn't bother me to watch it. Like, I think a big part of it not bothering me is I don't remember any of it. So, it's kind of interesting just to see kind of, how it happened, and, kind of try and break it down and kind of see, which impacts, okay, that's where I got knocked out, or, things like that. But, yeah, I've definitely watched it. I'm not scared to watch it or scared to race or anything like that. I think if you're scared to race, that, you need to go find something else to do. You cannot, compete at the level that we are at if you're scared to drive a race car. And, yeah, I think luckily I don't remember hardly any, not only just the crash, but hardly any of that day. I think I told Tony at Chili Bowl that one of the last things I remember is talking to him on national television and doing an interview with him. I don't remember what we talked about, but I remember talking to him, and that's like the last thing that I remember.
We were probably talking about where you buy your sashes and your tiaras and boas. And important, hard-hitting stuff like that. Well, that's exciting that if you don't remember much of the day, especially the crash, then when you see it on social media, you're probably like, whoa, what happens here? Oh my God, there's that guy in the set that see.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty wild. Yeah, so I'm hoping that, what do we have, 4-6 races on FS1 this year? Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that I can at least make all of those not taking off in a helicopter. That's a goal of mine. I think that's a fair goal. I think it's a realistic goal.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
That was what I was going to bring up. Was the last time you were on national television, you left in a helicopter, but this year you have 6 times where you can redeem yourself and not do that same thing.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think, just talking about where our sport's at and where High Limit's at, I think we're in a badass spot, man. I think, hopefully, 6 live television shows, hopefully turns into more than that. But just the fact that we're even getting the opportunity to do that is amazing. And, it's great for, our sponsors. And, I think, I haven't heard yet, but I think High Limit's introducing a new sponsor here soon. So to be able to, get them on national television too. Obviously we do a lot with Flo, right? And I think Flo's done some stuff with Amazon over the off season races, the indoor races. So just seeing where we keep taking the next step is just awesome to be a part of, and excited to be a part of as well.
Well, speaking of those 6 nationally televised live High Limit racing shows that will be on FS1 this year, your injury takes place at the only FS1 event in 2025. You get put up in the hospital for a few weeks, visiting you there in Dayton. Super fun, great time. That cafeteria was delicious. Big fan of what they're doing in the Dayton Memorial Hospital. I don't even know if that was the name of it or not. It could have been Dayton General or Tyler Courtney's home. I don't remember. But you came back and joined us on the road and got up in the booth with Chase and were a part of the broadcast. I mean, come on, it's pretty tempting. You could reclaim your spot and be an announcer on live television, Tyler. Any chances you maybe, you reclaim your position for at least one of those broadcasts?
No, probably not. Not as long as I'm chasing the championship. Nope, not a chance. Now, if they make that, maybe a show-up points race, I can just show up and, take my qualifying lap and come up there maybe. But I doubt that's going to happen. So, but no, I love being a part of the booth, and it was a ton of fun. I think I told Rigsby that, I kind of hope that, maybe they, maybe not for those races, but just for some races throughout the year, maybe bring on a driver analyst that would, I think Chase enjoyed it. I think I think everybody enjoyed it. I think it adds just another level to the broadcast that, I think helps everything. It helps, especially with how many new eyes we're going to have on our sport, being able to have a driver up there explain, why guys are doing certain things, or, just really anything like that has to do with the race car, being in the race car. I think having a driver up there to help analyze it helps a ton. And, so hopefully maybe that'll, maybe me being up there, will lead into, maybe somebody else getting a chance to do that. Hopefully not in the same situation that I was in. Hopefully it's not because they were hurt, but yeah, I think it would be just a little bit of extra spice for the broadcast.
Extra spice. I like that.
I couldn't agree anymore. Clip that and send it to whoever needs it. And next up on my list of questions, hang on, let me just double check. Okay. I'm running out. I'm almost out of questions. I got a couple more on my paper over here. But Tyler, we know the championship this year with High Limit is going to be hotly contested. Obviously, Rico won it last year. He won it, but he didn't have the best average finish. Wright saw the better one, and Brad had a better one. Now Brad's out of the mix, of course. And, I just feel like there's so many variables that are going to be going different directions here as far as this championship goes. I legitimately think there are 4 or 5 guys that are going to be, slugging it out for this thing all the way throughout the year. Do you feel the same way, or do you think it's maybe like 1 or 2?
No, I'd say it. I think at some points it might even go past 5. I think just it's going to depend how, a couple guys in new cars and a couple guys that showed speed at the end of the year, how they start the year. I think start of the year is almost just as important as how you finish the year, because you can get behind a lot of points very early on, and it's hard to get those back. Now, like you end the season obviously that pays dividends too, but I think starting the season off just to get the momentum rolling is a lot more important. So be interesting, but yeah, I think it's going to be super competitive all the way throughout the season. I think everybody's in for a treat. I think you got me coming off an injury. You got Rico, he's with a new team, but I think Rico is going to do Rico things, and I think obviously them moving to TSR, they have a championship caliber resume themselves, so not much to change in there. But I think Rico's obviously he's kind of the mark right now since Brad's gone. I think the way Aaron came back from injury last year and finished the season is going to be, and the way he's ran down under, I think is going to be, just another successful year for him. Brent Marks looked good in Florida. The way Tanner Thorson ended the year, if he can, start the year the way he ended it, it's going to depend how Dayson, kind of, gels with the 9 car, but obviously that car and team is a championship caliber, car and team. So yeah, I think it's going to be chaotic. I'm probably even forgetting people, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive years yet. I do wish Brad was still racing, because I wanted to say I got to beat him, but Rico beat him, so now I just got to chase after Rico and go for that.
I'll tell you what, that was an extremely comprehensive and really well thought out preview to the season. I think, Tyler, if you were smart, you would probably buy a blackboard and you would just start making a killing on YouTube. I think you would clean up.
Sunshine's blackboard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, the stuff writes itself. I mean, you clearly would be good at it. You just gave a great breakdown. I do find it interesting, though, that you said 5 or more guys could be slugging out for the championship. When right before we started recording, you were telling Chase and I, you're going to smack everybody this year, and you're going to run away with it. So
yeah,
it's just interesting how you kind of change up the attitude once the cameras start rolling. Hey, as we record this at coming up on midnight on Monday evening, I'm watching USAC National Sprint Car Racing kick off their season, which you can watch every lap of live on FloRacing this year. You obviously were a standout. That's how I got to know you in USAC Sprint Car and Silver Crown Racing. What do you like to watch when you're not competing? You have so much you can tune into on Flo with all the USAC National Championships, Lucas Oil late models, but I know you've been involved in IndyCar racing. You've technically competed in the Indianapolis 500 by being up on the roof spotting. So you're a racer through and through. What do you like to watch? What do you like to take in when you're not competing yourself?
Yeah, I would say just I'd say USAC's probably the first thing I'd probably go to turn on, like as a race fan. NASCAR, I kind of wait to see if like Kyle or like Christopher or Ricky like is leading at the end of the like later stages of the race, and I'll turn it on. I think IndyCar, I love the Indy 500. I wouldn't say that I'm like the biggest IndyCar fan throughout the rest of the season. Like I pay attention to it to see who's winning the championship and stuff like that. But when it's the month of May, I think I watch every practice session, I think, religiously, just whether it's, on TV or they stream it almost every day too. I think it's on Peacock now or something. But I love the Indy 500. So I would say like the month of May, I'm a diehard IndyCar fan. I would just say the rest of the year, I'm not like the biggest IndyCar fan, but yeah, I'd say first I'd probably turn on USAC racing. I think midgets and non-wing sprint cars and Silver Crown stuff, I think especially growing up doing that, just draws my interest. And just the guys they have running right now run really hard and are super competitive as well.
Well, I just wanted to say before Chase's next question, I'm the same way as you come month of May. I was going to say before Chase's next question that I'm just like you. When it comes to the month of May, I watch every single practice session. And in case you're wondering, they are on FS1, just like us at Highland Racing.
I'm convinced the dogs only bark when Tony starts talking.
Yeah, they must not like me.
Hey.
Okay, Tyler, my final question for you here today on the Highland Room, I guess I should say tonight, almost this morning, is this year, I am very happy to see that all of the NOS cars, with at least the wing cars, right? You got Baston, you got Sheldon, you and Chris Wyndham. It is great to see that there's new paint schemes. You have a new paint scheme for the first time in what feels like forever. I'm not sure what's gone on.
Long time.
But yeah, I mean, are you happy to have a new paint scheme? Because I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I think so. This was my Knoxville paint scheme from last year. Obviously, I didn't get to run the Nationals, so we kind of just put it on the shelf over here. And just kind of with everything that happened last year, we kind of felt like it was, time to start fresh. And so we talked with Lauren, if like, hey, what do you think if we just start the year and run the Knoxville paint scheme all year? She's like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And yeah, I think it's great. It's not like a huge difference, but I think it just, back to the word spice, I think it just spiced up our paint scheme a little bit and, added a little bit of white and like a lighter blue and stuff like that, just to, kind of lighten everything up. And I think it turned out really good. Everybody seems to like it so far. And yeah, I think the rest of my NOS teammates, everybody's got a different one this year. So it's cool to see. I think just the brand itself is a loud brand, so I think all of us are. I think definitely Sheldon and Spencer's cars are probably the loudest. With Sheldon's primarily all orange and Spencer's is all blue. So definitely loud colors, and yeah, I'm excited to have something different. Like you said, I think it has been since. So 2021, we had the turbo car, and then pretty much since 2022, we've had the same paint scheme. So just to change it up a little bit, feels good and fun.
Yeah, it definitely is fun. I'm sure the fans are loving it as well. Well, Tyler, thanks for jumping on the Highland Room. Make sure before you go, you let everybody, all Jerry, Barry, Mary, Carrie, Zeri, all the dogs, let them know that we said, have a great night, and thank you again for joining the Highland Room this week, and we're looking forward to catching back up with you at Vegas.
Yeah, thank you guys, and yeah, looking forward to starting the season, and hopefully start off with a strong run there in Vegas, and just have fun this year, man. I'm excited to be back, and grateful to be back.